yellow or some other color that would distinguish the recycling cart from the trash cart.
And then one other question is, would you have insurance, public liability insurance or some type of insurance in addition to cover accidents, et cetera, while you're down here working in the city?
Yes, sir, we would. The assembly and distribution team would actually be subcontracted by auto manufacturing, and they would be covered by their insurance.
Mayor, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Tackmart, would you?
I'd like to invite Monty Clindell and Mark Dobbs with Toter for the next presentation.
Good afternoon. My name is Monty Clindell. I'm the Midwest Division Manager for Toter. And Mark Dobbs is with Stringfellow. He resides in Louisville, Kentucky. And he's our dealer that would be covering the city of Frankfort. I want to first start out by saying I did not intend on creating any type of controversy between a council member and staff. For that reason, I apologize. And at this point, I'd like to withhold any further comments regarding that situation. Toter Incorporated, we are a rotational mold company. And we can absolutely meet your January 1st startup. And that, what I mean by that is for a door-to-door delivery. I've been with Toter for a little bit over 15 years now. We would bring in a seasoned veteran, Ken Sturdy, the subcontractor, to handle the assembly and delivery. One of the reasons we can expedite a quicker assembly and delivery is that our carts, you can see the inboard wheels, and I have another 48-gallon cart back here, and I just brought that for nestability purposes. But our carts are one of the only carts in the market, when completely assembled, they nest inside of one another. And that would be a substantial savings for assembly, delivery, and storage of the containers. So we have a 96-gallon cart, a 64, 48 to show the nestability, and a 32-gallon cart here. There is a substantial difference between the processes between these actually three cart manufacturers. The tallest cart there before you is actually a Schaefer cart with the handles on the side, and the other two carts are Otto carts. I just had a general question. The pilot that the city of Frankfort is running, is that with the Schaefer cart or the Otto carts?
The Otto carts.
With the Otto carts? Okay. But specifically, the difference is Toter is a rotational mold company. It's a hollow mold. You open the door, you throw a bucket of resin in the mold. There's approximately 28 molds on a robotic arm, and they rotate through an oven. Just like putting butter in a frying pan, we utilize gravity for the product to be made. So you end up with a lot more flexibility in the cart wall. I'd like to grab a wall here. This is rotational mold, and in cold climates, you have to have that flexibility when you're picking it up with an automated arm or a semi-automated cart tipper. It's the same process they use to manufacture kayaks. It's the same process they use to manufacture these orange barrels that you see along construction sites that are made to withstand impact or be hit by vehicles. On the other hand, you have injection mold, which is a two-wall mold, and they use up to 20,000 pounds of pressure, and they pump this plastic into a two-wall mold so they have a thicker wall thickness on the product itself, and you end up with more of a thicker wall thickness, less flexibility, which has a tendency to have a little bit higher failure rate. We are the preferred cart in the Midwest. We have about 70% of the municipal business that's out there. But there's a reason why kayaks and these items are made with rotational mold, so they won't crack or fail over time. There's also a reason why Dixie cups and these orange cones you see along construction sites nest inside of one another. It's going to make city staff since you're going into the cart business, to be much more efficient, being able to stack one inside of the other with the wheels installed. Does anybody have any questions regarding the product itself?
Commissioner Turner.
Is there a warranty on?
Yes, thank you. It is a 10-year unprorated warranty, and that's basically an industry standard. And we have the lowest warranty claim in the industry. Our standard warranty claim is about a 0.04% warranty claim, which is almost zero. And we honor 100% of our warranties.
Any other, Mr. Turner, you through?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Wilder.
Regarding the auto assured us that, you know, they have a 10-year warranty with, that is non-prorated, so it sounds like you're matching that. They also offered to have a rep from Auto at the cart rollout. Is that something you offer to match as well?
Yes, we can do that. Primarily, the key to this whole process in assembling and delivering these carts and have them all in place before January 1st would be the assembly and delivery of the product, which would require probably multiple assembly and delivery meetings to make sure we have the proper route maps, address sheets. But yes, I will be available, and also will Mr. Mark Dodds. And our seasoned subcontractor that handles assembly and delivery, and he's done up to a couple 100,000 carts. We just completed a project in Knoxville, Tennessee, but there's a number of municipal projects that require us to assemble and deliver up to 3,000 carts a day. So the city of Frankfort would not be an issue for us. We'd be able to meet that startup date. Yes, sir.
And also, I mean, you know, I'm sorry to bring this up, but we did hear testimony from our Public Works Director that you claimed that I told you that you all should deal with me and not with staff. Now,
Okay.
you and I spoke about 5 minutes before this meeting, and you confirmed that that is not true, and that you would clarify that with Mr. Hagbart the next time you saw him.
Yes, and I had a meeting with him before this meeting here today. If you wish to discuss that further, I'll be willing to comment on that further. But I met you at the show. We had good communication, and you primarily told me that you were the point person. I need to stay in contact with you, and I attempted to do so. I was never contacted that I was harassing you or being overly aggressive. I never received a message from you, or we never exchanged that conversation. I apologize if you think I was aggressive, but that's not my nature.
I'm asking you to confirm or deny whether or not I told you all to contact me and
Yep.
not staff.
I heard that through George Luce, who is a salesperson for Best Equipment, saying that there was no need to contact staff regarding this project, that we needed to stay in contact with you. And for some reason, the communications between you and I failed. There was no longer any communication. I was trying to contact you, and then I saw the link where the city link where the city had selected 35, 65, 96 gallon carts with auto pictures regarding that. So I contacted George Luce, and I said, you know, I recommend we contact city staff and get further involved here, hoping that we could assist further. But I have a list of those emails available on my iPhone and on my laptop.
For what it's worth, I have those emails available too. And if I recall my conversation with Mr. Luce correctly, he was asking if you all needed to submit a bid. And I informed him that the city hadn't put this out to bid, which I suppose could be construed as informing you all not to contact staff, but I certainly never said that overtly. And I also made it very clear in talking with you, other cart representatives at SWANA, in the subsequent conversations, including with Mr. Luce, that my only power in this situation is to gather information, and that I don't have the ability to make decisions on behalf of the city.
Okay. Well, it's not my intent to create any conflict between any council member or staff. And if I did, I apologize. I clearly understand and know what emails I received and what discussions took place.
Commissioner Hidden.
In regard to this,
Yes, ma'am.
there's a 48-gallon and a 32-gallon on here. Is that just to show us the price difference? Or that you would order that many of each?
Yeah, that's primarily, we offer basically 5 different cart sizes. And a lot of times with the 32-gallon cart itself is that if you notice, all of these stop bars and saddle areas are all at the same height. There's what's called an ANSI standard, American National Standards Institute. And those all have to be at the same height in order for a cart tipper to service that cart itself. So when you take a 32-gallon trash can that might have a cylinder like this and stand this tall, you can put a bag of trash in there or a large pizza box without any issue. But on the 32 or 35-gallon carts, you do have bridging that takes place inside of the cart itself, where the contents get locked in place and they're difficult to unload. So when I met with Mr. Hackbart here, I thought I felt obligated that I were to show him a 48-gallon cart, which, as you can see, is a tad bit shorter, and you have a lot larger cylinder with the similar height. And if I lay these down, here you can see the difference in the 2 cylinders. Some color charts in there. So just purpose of discussion and showing staff exactly what we have available. That was the purpose of why I brought the 48s, and then I just brought the 5th cart so I could show that one nests inside of one another with their wheels on. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just making sure that you were adding something else to our mix that we haven't written down.
Yeah, I am under the understanding that it's going to be one or the other cart size.
Okay, Commissioner May.
Mayor, I just have a question. I probably should have asked Mr. Brill the same thing, and he can answer later. Does anybody know, like, the weight of the different containers? Like, the weight with, just of the container itself with no...
Yes. Their carts have a tendency to be a few pounds heavier than our carts, and that's because of the process that they utilize. They have to have that certain wall thickness. That same process, injection mold, is the same process they use to manufacture televisions, laptops, cell phones. It's the quickest, cheapest process to manufacture a plastic product. And I have a tendency to be a little biased that rotational mold is the preferred and correct process for this application.
But my question, do we know, like, the weight?
I don't know the exact weights of the auto carts. I'm going to guesstimate that a 96-gallon cart here is probably just under 40 pounds. Mike, can you comment on your weight of your 95?
Yeah. The 95-gallon is 43 pounds.
Oh, excuse me. Would you please come over to the microphone?
Okay.
I'm sorry. You could have come, I was just asking at some point, just, I wanted to see how much these things weighed.
43 to 47 pounds is what's on our literature for the 95-gallon, 36 to 40 for the 65, and 23 pounds on the 35.
Okay, thank you.
Can you stay up just 1 second?
Then on the others, on these, whenever you get a chance, I don't care if Katie wants to, Commissioner Head wants to answer first, but I just at some point wanted to get the weight of the carts, and whenever it's fine.
Okay. Commissioner Hayden, do you have some other questions?
Yes, just while you're up here, between both of you, the RFID readers,
Yes.
that's the scanning device? Or-
Yes, that stands for radio frequency identification, and it's a little chip that we mold right into the cart itself. And that allows you to take a handheld scanner and scan that chip, and it will come up with the serial number and the address to which the cart was assigned. So it's today it's the best way possible to track your carts for accountability purposes.
Do those scanners also have the 10-year warranty? Do they break down, or?
I'm really not, I really can't address that. I don't know as much about the warranty on the scanner.
Okay.
That's something that we outsource. We don't make the scanner itself. I'd be glad to find out for you.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you. Any other comments from the commissioners?
Just I think he's gonna give us the weight on the.
I don't have the weight here on this literature in front of me, but I know we're just in around 40 pounds on the 96. The weights are very, very similar. What's key is ANSI standards and OSHA test these carts. And our 96-gallon cart, because it's rotational mold, has a 335-pound load rating, and the other brands normally carry about a 250-pound load rating. This is a ultra high frequency tag, and I believe this is what municipal equipment also quoted was ultra high frequency. And these tags simply, there's a hole drilled in the handle, the tag goes inside, and then it's plugged, so it's out of the elements of the weather. As far as the handheld scanners, I know Toter, we're not in the business of manufacture scanners, and either is Otto, so there's a real good chance that we're purchasing our scanners from the same provider, whether it be municipal equipment or Toter.
Okay, Mr. Moore.
Just the same questions that I asked Mr. Correll, and that is, it appears you can have different color tops, lids. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we have, I dump these out. We're one of the few companies that offer granite bodies. These granite bodies allow us to put up to 50% post-consumer recycled content back into the product itself. And then the lids themselves, what I recommended to Mr. Hackbart to make the city's life a lot simpler is that if you purchase one color body with the city logo or not and just change out the lids, then you won't have to stock 6 different carts. You'd just be stocking 3 different cart bodies and changing the lids out. So that would be much more efficient.
And then you all do carry general liability insurance for when you come down here and distribute the...
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Any other questions, comments? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Now, so Mr. Moore, then on pertaining to this first reading, you said have a date. Should be included in this.
That's correct. There needs to be a date by which the ordinance, solid waste ordinance, is to take effect.
Okay, and so we have to make a decision here now for the commission to choose that date before we proceed.
Correct, although I'm not sure how the commission wants to move forward with respect to the contract, whether they want to approve a contract with one of these entities or go ahead and bid it at this point in time, or whether that's one issue. And then the other issue, of course, is the date for the ordinance to take effect, because of course the containers would need to be in Frankfort and delivered to the city residents before the new amending ordinance takes effect.
Okay, Mr. Gordon, you said you wanted to ask a question.
Yes, I have 2 two questions that I'd like to ask both vendors, please.
Would you please come back up?
I'm sorry. While they're coming up, we have several residents who have not expressed an order, have not placed an order, and so we anticipate, several people will want to exchange the cart that they get for a different size. And so I would like to ask, how difficult is it to change the address in the chip? If for example, we're going to deliver a lot of the medium-sized carts, and given that our emphasis is on trying to increase recycling, so logically a lot of those folks might want a smaller size cart. So how would we change the addresses on the chips?
It's my understanding that you would delete the address from the first cart and enter that on the scanner for the second cart.
Is this with software? We're doing this with software?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So it's relatively simple?
Yes, sir. It's very simple. But this is where the scanner comes into play again. The scanner is really the key to tracking all your carts.
Thank you. Do you have any?
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, in the scanners, all of the addresses will be downloaded in the scanner itself. So basically what I have to do is go to the address, pull up the address, you can delete that cart size, and you rescan the cart. So then the new RFID tag and serial number comes up at that address. So you basically delete the old cart size and add on the new cart size. And to further answer your question, again, the nestability, and I'll hand out this information. With the toter carts that nest inside one another, if you're swapping out cart sizes, you can get 6 to 9 times more toter carts in the back of a pickup truck. If you decide to go with brand X that don't nest, then you'll be getting approximately 4 95-gallon carts in the back of a pickup truck for delivery. So there's a significant savings there.
Okay, you have a second question?
Yes, Mayor. My second question is, if we end up with, after we've placed all the carts, if we end up with a surplus of carts, can we exchange those with you all? Do you understand my question?
Yes, sir, I think I do. And that's that's kind of a thorny issue, because once the carts have the hot stamp that say City of Frankfort or whatever your logo may be, it makes it pretty difficult for us to take the cart back unless we just take the cart back and regrind it and use it in our manufacturing process again. So I don't think I could say that you would get every dollar back if we were to take the carts back, other than just what the raw material costs would be.
Thank you. Vendor number 2.
That is correct. If the city decides to hot stamp all of your cart bodies, they're only worth about 5 cents per pound, where we would buy them back, regrind them up, make new carts. Now, one of the ideas I recommended to Mr. Hackbart was, I said, I'm highly doubtful if you're going to be returning 96 or 64-gallon carts. Through our experience, the 32-gallon cart, people have a tendency, once they receive a cart and it's very convenient to recycle, they start recycling more. So you would have a tendency to be able to get rid of the smaller size carts. So what I recommended to staff was to bring in the smaller size carts without a city logo. If you do that and you have to return them, there is greater value in those, and there is a market for used carts. So I would assist staff and counsel in reselling those smaller size carts if they were not marked as far as the body. The lids, you could mark property of the city of Frankfurt, have the recycling information on the lid. It's much cheaper to purchase a lid than an entire new cart.
Okay, Commissioner Waller.
For what it's worth, I really don't think we should be hot stamping. I think, I've been saying this from the beginning of this discussion, but I really don't think it would be wise for us to hot stamp the carts. That's all. And I don't have a problem hot stamping the lids.
Okay, that's all?
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, what we're facing here now, I guess, is we'll decide on the date. Mr. Moore, that's what we have to have, the date.
Correct.
For implementing. Is there a recommendation by Mr. Waller?
As we discussed at the last meeting, Mayor, I think everybody, including staff, agree that we need to, in this circumstance, we need to settle on a manufacturer in order to settle on a date. We can't, I don't think we can decide a date and then decide a manufacturer.
Mr. Hedden?
I don't know if it's the best idea, but it is an idea that it might actually be in our best interest to, we already have the carts ordered, and maybe just setting up the $5 flat fee for the first 6 months and having this take place July 1st, implementing the pay-as-you-throw program. That way citizens can get their cans, decide if those are the ones they want, they can exchange them, and then by the time the pay-as-you-throw sets up July 1st, we'll be ready to go.
Okay. Commissioner May.
I have another question. These are just, these aren't actually bids, correct?
That's right.
So would it be, because of our process, is it better to have formal bids submitted and then let staff make recommendation as to which bid they think is best for the city, because they're the ones that, they're the ones that are ultimately going to use,
Mr. Moore?
use the equipment. I'm not trying to land, I'm just asking because it just kind of dawned upon me, these aren't actual bids. At first, when I was looking at the information, I was thinking in my head the cost comparison and all the other comparisons that go with it, but since